Welcome to today's Masterclass Lifestyle by Universal Design. My name is Becca Armstrong, and it is a pleasure to welcome you to today's session. We are going to cover the 5 phases of manifestation, what these phases are, and how each phase works. I'm going to guide you through each of these phases and show you how to engage them to design and live your very best life right here and right now. Robert Collier says, see the things you want as already yours. Know that they will come to you at need. Then let them come. Don't fret and worry about them. Don't think about your lack of them. Think of them as yours, as belonging to you, as already in your possession. Phase 1 is dream and desire. Phase 2 of manifestation is attraction. Phase 3 is align and allow. Phase 4 is physical manifestation. And phase 5, which you may never have heard of before, is the expansion phase. So let's dive in to phase 1. Phase 1, dream and desire. So what are we talking about? We're talking about all that you can dream up on the screen of your mind, all that you can dream up honestly within your heart, all that you can come to desire. You see, it's important for you to dream. It's important for you to desire. Research actually shows that when people stop dreaming and they stop desiring, there's a deconstructive disintegration process called apoptosis that our cells go through. So one of the key factors of thriving in life is continuing to dream and allow our dreams to continue to unfold and expand and introduce them to ourselves as we move forward in life. So it is impossible to dream too big, to want too much, to desire too much in life. It is absolutely vital for your existence that you dream and you want and you desire. But let's talk about what you want versus what others want for you. The key factor is to know what it is that you want. So let's take a moment, and if you have a piece of paper, fantastic. If you don't, go ahead and pause this video and come back, because I want to be sure that you have something to write on and write with. So grab a few pieces of paper, pencil or pen. I've actually gone through a class with a crayon because that's all I could find at the time. So grab whatever it is that you can to write on and write with, and come on back. Welcome back. Okay, now that you have something to write on and with, what I want to have you do now is to write down your desires. Now, I don't want you to write down your biggest desires and your little desires. I want you to take a moment and write down all of your desires, everything that you want and desire. Go ahead and fill up the page. Fill up a few pages. Keep writing until you run out of things that you want. If you would like, go ahead and pause this recording now. Come back to it when you have absolutely exhausted everything that you can think about that you want and desire. Now, I have a little bit of a poignant instruction here. If it feels bad, even though you want it, make a little star next to it. So no matter what is causing the feel bad, let's say you want to earn $100 million this year, and you go to write it down, and it's something you want, but when you're writing it down, it just feels bad. So make a little star next to it, and then keep going. All right, go ahead and pause the recording. Come on back when you've written down all of your wants and your desires. Congratulations! Welcome back. Okay, now you have a page, a few pages, maybe just a short list. It doesn't matter how many things that you wrote down. I just want to celebrate and congratulate you in writing everything down that came to mind and to heart that you want and desire. Now, as you look at your page or pages, what I want you to do is I want you to scan through. And using 3 numbers, 1, 2, and 3, I want you to give a 1 to the things that feel the least exciting, the least desirable. A 2 to the things that feel mid-desirable, and a 3 to the things that you want the most. Now, I know a lot of you are maybe a little bit confused here where you say, wait a minute, I'm used to number 1 being the thing that I want and desire the most, and number 3 being the thing that I want and desire the least. Well, we're actually playing with some habits and patterns here. So go ahead and reverse the numbers if that's what it feels like to you. Go ahead and do it anyway. Give the things that you want and desire a 3, and the things that you desire the least a 1, and everything in the middle a 2. So go ahead and do that. Pause the recording and then come on back. Welcome back. Okay, so now you have a page or a list or pages that have 1s, 2s, and 3s next to them, and some of them have stars. As you're looking at your page, become aware of everything that is a 3. Now, I want you to ignore the 1s and the 2s for right now and look at everything that is a 3. Notice any of those that have a star next to them, okay? Now, if you don't have a star, that's okay. Go ahead and listen to this next section and this little bit here that I'm going to go into, because it's going to be valuable for you as you progress forward in your life. Because if you don't have a star next to something right now, it's likely with something that you desire and dream of in your near future, it may come with a little star attached to it. Now, find the something that you want and desire on your page that has the star next to it. Look at what that is. Okay, now that you're looking at this want and desire and it has a star, that star indicates that something feels bad. So without trying to think about and figure out with your mind what feels bad, I want you to listen to your heart. Listen to your internal wise self. Now, some of us might call this divine guidance. Some of us may call this our inner self. Some of this may call it our highest or higher self. It doesn't matter what you call this inner voice. Go ahead and listen to it. And of course, it's not going to be an audible voice. It's going to be a message from within. Now, there's a reason why it feels bad. Feelings are the indication of the frequency and vibration that we're in. Most of us think that law of attraction responds to what we think about. It actually responds, this universal law and principle responds to the vibration we are sending out. You see, there is the law of vibration. That is one of the primary laws of the universe. The law of vibration, if you're not familiar with it, states that everything vibrates, everything oscillates around a central point. Now, in the universe, an infinite universe, there is no beginning and there is no end. So what is the centralized point? Well, the centralized point in the universe that you are living in is you. You are the point of origination. You are the point where all vibration is coming from. So the vibration that you're in has a measurement tool, and the measurement tool are your emotions. They give you indication as to what energy you're dialed into that is in motion. Let me give you another example. You're looking at the screen and you're hearing my voice. Your eyes are detecting the visual vibration of color, the spectrums of color. So your eyes are actually the interpreters of the frequency of what you're looking at. Now, your ears are the interpretation vehicle and tool for interpreting the vibration of my voice. So your eyes are interpreting visual vibrations, things that are detectable in the visual field, and your ears are detecting auditory frequency, things that are falling within the auditory field. Well, your emotions span way beyond your visual and auditory resources. Your emotions are picking up all of the frequency of creation that is going on around you and within you. So when you're silent with what you want and desire, and something feels bad, that feeling is giving you indication as to the frequency that that something is on. Now, creation is neither good nor bad. It's not looking at good feelings or bad feelings. What we do know is that when we feel good, the vibration, the frequency that we are picking up on and we're interpreting is supportive of life force. It's supportive of life moving forward. Okay, now there are times when our mind can be worryful, doubtful, fearful about something. So our mind kind of keys into some worry and then our feelings can follow it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about worry, doubt, or fear. I'm talking about looking at something that you should, ought to, have to, need to, must, want, and desire. It should be so good for you. Other people think it's something that you need or that you're good for or that you're qualified at. And yet, when you write it down, it doesn't matter how good it's supposed to be. It still feels bad. So this is an indication that it is off course from your highest expression of life force. So the energy that's flowing to you and through you, when it feels good, it's expanding your infinite self. When it's feeling bad, it's constricting and stagnating and putting some disintegration on your highest self. Now, it doesn't mean that these moments of contrast where we're engaged in something that feels bad cannot help us refocus and recalibrate and re-entrain and realign with all that we want and desire. And we'll talk about that at a later time. So contrast can be very, very valuable. But as far as setting a goal, naming and claiming a desire that we have that feels bad, this is like saying, I want to go, it's like saying I'm in Denver, Colorado, and I want to go to San Diego, and yet I'm going to select a goal that's going to take me to New York. Okay. Why? Because people like going to New York, and New York is really fun, and I haven't been to New York, and there's a lot of culture and great food and entertainment, and everybody says I should go there. Now, what I really, really want is to go to San Diego. That's what feels really good. But what I think I should do that would be in my best interest is go to New York. So I'm going to put New York down on my piece of paper. New York feels bad to me. However, I should do it. So I want you to look at your page, and I want you I want to encourage you to let go of judgment. Let go of trying to figure out how, what, why, when, where, and who. Let all of that go and just notice the things that you have stars on and say, okay, is this really my desire? Is this really something that is coming from my highest self, from my divine self, from that inner wise being within me? Or is this coming from somewhere outside, a should, ought to, have to list that I made or someone made? Maybe somebody else made that list and gave it to you long ago. Doesn't matter where it came from. But look at the things that are starred. And instead of just getting rid of them, I want you to ask yourself a higher question. And the question is, okay, if this feels bad, what feels better? What feels better in regards to what I want and desire? Now, see, if I was looking at my list and I had, go to New York City written down on my list, and I was reading that and I thought, well, New York's wonderful, I think. I mean, I've heard great things, but it feels bad. I just kind of feel a heaviness, a thickness, a density, a feeling when I look at New York on my list. And so what would feel better? Well, what would feel better is we go into the, maybe it's a spring, or maybe it's fall, or in the weather's either cold or it's changing, or whatever it might be. It might be, warm climate, blue skies, soft, gentle ocean breezes, whatever it may be. You start to really connect and ask yourself, what would feel better? And what would feel better, honestly, when I think about it, where do I want to go? I want to go to San Diego. And you know what? I don't have to have a reason that I want to go to San Diego to just know that I want to go to San Diego. So in place of New York, I would put San Diego. So when I cross out New York on my page, I would then write in San Diego. And honestly, for me, I like to write in San Diego before I cross New York off. Just me. Because the universe abhors a vacuum. And I am, well, simultaneously. For me, I'm simultaneously letting go of New York and really awakening and inviting the seat to be filled by San Diego. So however you want it, doesn't matter. Just look at your list, see the things that you've starred and say, okay, if this feels bad, I don't have to know why it feels bad. I don't have to know where the feel bad came from. And honestly, I don't ever need to know. But right now, what I do want to know is what would feel better. Okay, what do I want that would feel better than this? You might even have it written down on your list somewhere else. Once you discover what it is, cross it out, cross out New York, and put San Diego. Whatever it is that you want, that is your San Diego. So take a moment. If you'd like to pause this recording, go ahead and do that, and then come on back when you have that completed. Fantastic. Congratulations. Now you have a list of 3s that are what you want. Now, what you want and desire matters. It matters greatly. It matters that your heart gets to be fulfilled in this lifetime. Not only in lifetimes to come, but in this lifetime starting right now. You have all potential, all possibility, all of the ingredients, all the capacity right here within you. You may not have seen it before. It may be dormant, but you can awaken it. And we're going to show you how in the steps to follow. So now that you're aware of what it is that you want and desire, what I want you to do is go through your list and count how many things you want and desire. Now you might have 50, you might have 5, or you might have 2. Doesn't really matter. Just go ahead and count how many things you want and desire. So if you have 10 things, then you're going to come up with the number 10. Then what I would like for you to do is give these things that you desire a number. Number 1 now gets to be the something that you desire the most. And 10 is something that you desire the least. However, I have a little twist to it. I want you to zoom out with your perception and your perspective, because there are things that you want that are in service to other things that you want on your list. So let me give you another example. Let's say that on my list, now that I know I want to go to San Diego, I also realize that I want to go to St. George, Utah. And I really would love to go to Las Vegas as well. Interesting. Well, do I want to go to San Diego or Las Vegas or Arizona? Which one do I want to go to the most? Well, if I had those 3 things on my list, I might look at it and say, now, in going to Las Vegas, does that bring me, if I drive or fly, does that bring me through Arizona or St. George, Utah, and San Diego? Well, it might bring me through Utah if I drive, but San Diego is beyond, Las Vegas. Okay. If I go to Utah, does that bring me to San Diego? And does that bring me to Las Vegas? Well, which one do I want to go to more? Because maybe I just ultimately want to go to Las Vegas and I really don't want to go to San Diego, or I don't want to go to Arizona right now. I might in the future. It's something that I'm considering, but what I really feel passionate about is going to Las Vegas. And if I had a free ticket anywhere to any of these locations, this is the one that I choose the most. Now, going back to what I became aware of with New York, I really, really want to go to San Diego. And I might look at the 3 things on my list and say, you know what? If I go to San Diego and I focus on going to San Diego, Las Vegas and St. George, Utah are taken care of because they're along the way. Utah comes before Nevada, and Nevada comes before California. And you know what? This is so cool. I can hop in my car And I can have a fantastic road trip, and I can play in St. George, and then I can play in Las Vegas, and then I can play in San Diego, and then I can play in Las Vegas, and I can play in St. George on the way back. Or I can discover, now that I've been through these different locations, what do I want and desire more? So I want you to look at your list, and I want you to play with it. Not play with it with your mind. I want you to play with it with your heart. I want you to look at it through the eyes of your childlike self, your infinite self, really. Let go of all restriction. Let go of how you get to make this happen. Just focus on what you want and desire. Our childlike self might say, really what I want to do is I want to go to Las Vegas. I really want to go to Las Vegas. And then I want to go and I want to have some R&R in San Diego. And then I want to go to St. George and I want to have some outdoor activity and I want to do some things, outdoors. And I want to, hike and climb and, do different things. Okay, fantastic. And your childlike self might say, and I don't want to drive. I don't really enjoy driving. I want to take an airplane. And I want to ride in first class. Or I want to take an airplane to one and I want to take a helicopter to the other and I want to ride a motorcycle to the other one. Okay, fantastic. You can do everything and the how will be presented to you. The how will come. So don't look at the how right now. Just dial into what you want. Go through your list. Prioritize from the least to the most. And pay attention to what I call umbrella desires. And or we could call them the champagne tower desires. And with the champagne tower, the single glass at the top, when you pour champagne into that glass, it all trickles down to the ones underneath. And yet, if your champagne tower glass, if the one at the very top isn't the one that excites you the most, that you desire the most, that you cannot be shaken off of no matter what, then it's lacking the energy. So make sure that your number one is the one that excites you the most, that you desire the most, and that you allow to fulfill all of the others. So go ahead and pause. Play with your list, work it around, give it different numbers. These numbers are also not locked in stone, so as you proceed forward, you may move these numbers around a bit. That's okay, but at least get them into something that clicks and resonates with the desires of your heart. So when you finish with these numbers, you're going to feel peaceful. You're going to feel maybe a bit of excitement or a lot of excitement. You're going to feel curiosity. You're maybe going to feel a little bit of like oh no, oh boy, is it really happening? A little bit of trepidation, which is all okay. It's just you going from the known space to the unknown space. So have some fun, pause the recording, come on back when you're done. All right, congratulations. Congratulations. You've taken the time to become aware of what really, really matters to you. Now, as you look at your list and you look at your number one, feel the response in your heart. Notice the softening. Notice the opening. Notice maybe some of the, kind of scared feelings that might come up. Scared is fine. Scared is different than fear. Okay? It just means that you're going from a known space to an unknown space. You're moving from a known vibration into the vibration and frequency where what you want and desire already is. You see, the key thing is that when you connect with your desire is in the infinite space. It's everywhere. And when you say, oh, this is what I want, it's like your heart and that desire, boom, they ping each other. They identify each other and they begin the process, they begin attraction, they begin resonance, they begin entrainment, they begin to calibrate with one another. And it begins the phases of manifestation. So the first phase of manifestation is your desire. And now you're aware of what you desire. Not what you should desire, but what you actually desire. we've talked about the law of vibration, that everything is vibrating. Let's talk for just a moment about the law of gender. The law of gender says that everything has an incubation, a gestation period. So you don't know at this moment what the gestation period is for what you want and desire. I do have some insight for you. It is perfect. It's perfect. My mentor and colleague that I just love so much, Bob Proctor, he uses an example of a carrot. He uses several examples, but I really think the one of a carrot is fun because we know the gestation period of a carrot. And yet we know that because carrots have been raised before. The seeds of carrot have been sown, they've been nurtured, they've been cared for, and then the carrots have been harvested, and then someone took note and said, oh, that was about this many days. Okay, so you will know the gestation period for your want and desire, and you'll know it when it is in your life. So right now, let go of it. Just know that there's order in the universe. So everything happens in perfect, beautiful, divine timing. Everything is drawn to you whenever you need it. So allow yourself to receive that. Know it in your heart. Be willing to align with what you desire, align with what you need, and allow it in your life. Be willing to look for it and allow it to look for you. Allow yourself to identify it and allow it to identify you. You're like a tractor beam now coming together. That's the law of attraction. Everything that is vibrating in harmony will come together. This is also the law of cause and effect. You've set your desire. You've pinged it. Even without knowing, the vibration of your desire has now moved out from your central point and it's now pulsating into the universe. Okay, so that's like sending a beacon out into the universe, and everything that is a match to what you desire is now being identified, and it's pinging you, sending the beacon and the ping back, saying, I hear you, I read you, I'm coming. And you're saying, I hear you, I read you, I'm coming. So you're moving toward what you want, and what you want is now moving toward you. That is law of attraction. The asking has already happened through the power of your desire. There is no need for you to continue to ask. There is no need for you to manage law of attraction. Law of attraction says like is drawn unto like. It is the law of magnetic resonance. It's basically saying that anything and everything that resonates with one another, which is to share and be on the same frequency, moves into entrainment and calibration and is in the same physical space and will come into the same physical space. It's law. So you don't have to manage any of that. Now let's talk about the law of intention. The law of intention is aligned with our decision. It is the element of our focus. It is the entrainment and intending that happens on a regular basis. Now, sometimes our intention is drawn away through distraction or our distracted attention. In those moments, whenever you find you're focused somewhere else, maybe on the bill that just came in instead of the filling of your bank account, that just lets you know, law of intention is actually letting me know I am actually distracted with my attention. It's also giving you contrast, which is the law of polarity. The law of polarity is a universal law that says everything has an equal exact opposite. Okay? And so in has an out, up has a down, cold has hot, and broke has wealth. Okay? So when your attention is drawn to the broke, the law of polarity is also present, giving you the ability to see the contrast and then refocus your entrainment, your resonance through law of attention onto what it is that you want and desire. So these are some of the universal laws. You may know about them, you may not know about them, but what is so important to take away is the strategy piece. What you desire The absolute vibration of what you desire is powerful. And it is the asking vibration. You don't have to ask. You don't have to say, universe, bring me wealth. You do that from the point of desire, from the initiation of your desire. And you send that vibration out. And everything that's a match to your desire is then also awakened and pings you right back. You move into the law of magnetic resonance, the law of attraction, and you're seeking, and whatever you desire is seeking you, and you're like a tractor beam coming together. That is taken care of for you. Your job is not to continue to ask. Your job is to continue to resonate in alignment and allowing with what it is that you desire, to initiate the momentum and to flow and allow yourself to remain focused, to return to focus, and to continue in the momentum of the vibration of your desire. And in every moment where you get taken off track, doesn't matter who, how, what, when, why, and how, nothing matters. It's all about coming back into what it is that you desire, the fire of desire within your heart. Allowing yourself to say, I don't have to know when this is going to happen. I don't have to know how this is going to happen. I don't have to manage the outcome and how it comes to be. I don't have to force it in my life. What I need to do is I need to get into the vibration of feeling awesome with it and stay, remain, move in the momentum, allow and align in the momentum of the desire in every moment, be awakened to guidance in every moment. So let's go into phase 2. I want to talk more about attraction. That which you're seeking is always seeking you. We've talked about it a moment ago. So when you desire something, you set your vibrational point of attraction, really. And so that point is likened to dialing into a frequency on a radio. So let's say you dial into a certain Sirius radio station. Maybe it's, channel 2 or something. Well, channel 2, as my 13-year-old daughter loves, is a hit radio station with all of the latest, cool songs playing. It is unlikely that you're going to hear a song from the 50s. It's unlikely you're going to hear a classical orchestra. Those things would be shocking. As a matter of fact, if an orchestra started playing or a song from the 50s, we would look and say, oh my goodness, did I switch stations? What's going on here? That's not the station I dialed into. It would catch us. It would catch our attention in contrast. It would be an alarming moment. We'd say, what? This doesn't sound like the right song. There's something wrong. And there's not something wrong. It means that we're listening to a song that is not resonating with the station we turned into, which means we're not sitting there saying, okay, is there something wrong with what's playing through the station? We look and say, did I switch the dial? Did I switch the station? Did it automatically switch to something? Was there a timer on this and it flipped to a different station? Now, I'm using a metaphor of radio, but this is something that we do within our frequency all the time. Maybe we have an automated switch within us frequency-wise that says, okay, when things get really, really good and start flowing, switch into resistance, start blocking, shut it down, okay? And it doesn't matter if you have that switch going on. There are beautiful ways to turn off the switch. Just like I can go in, if I have something set in an automated fashion, I can go into my phone or I can go into my computer or I can go into anything that I have and I can change the dial on that. Okay, I can turn off the alarm. I can turn off the auto redirect. I can shut it off. I can also reprogram it. I can set it to a new station. I can set a new time for it. I can always adjust it based on what I want. And what I want, usually if I'm adjusting it, is different than when I first set it. So I want to mention that because you're going to continue to grow and advance and develop. And this is powerful. Remember apoptosis? If you stop your desiring, you start to disintegrate. You're either growing and expanding or you're disintegrating. So the growth is beautiful. It invites more life force to flow through you. So desire is good. So if you find, oh, wait, I switched my channel, that's okay. Being aware that you switched your channel just gives you the opportunity to switch it back. It also gives you the opportunity to say, wow, I auto-programmed this to switch, and I don't want to do that anymore, so I'm going to program it in a different way. I'm going to be aware of where my station is tuning into. I'm going to be aware of the station I select. So intention and clarity and focus is a strategy with attraction because it allows you to work with where you're resonating. Remember, your job from the moment of desire is to align and allow. Align and allow. See, law of attraction is happening anyway. And whatever it is that you're vibrating with is your attraction set point. So if you're vibrating and you're setting your station to channel 2, then channel 2 is what's going to broadcast through. Now, if you want to listen to something else, you got to start dialing into something else. Okay, you got to dial into channel 15 or something, and maybe nothing broadcasts through right away. I don't know about you, but I've been in places where I'm not getting any signal on my radio. It's not coming through. Okay, that doesn't mean there isn't something broadcasting for my radio to pick up. It just means I need to move a little bit more and get receptive to what's broadcasting. Okay, so I may have set my dial to channel 2, but the frequency may not be getting in. So I can sit there and say, see, it doesn't work. My radio's broken. Nothing's being broadcast. I don't get to listen to what I want. 98% of the world does that. You can turn on the news and hear story and story and story and story and story after story about that occurring. But the truth is, sometimes we got to move. Sometimes we got to be intentional about our actions. If we're sitting in the basement garage of a parking structure and we want to listen to the radio, sometimes we need to move our car. We need to dial in. Once upon a time, I was actually running a webinar for Bob Proctor, and it was fantastic because it's a great group of people. I had the blessing of working with him for several years, training his coaches internationally, and we were doing a training webinar. I had actually been working with coaching clients. I'd worked with a company that morning, so I was on location, but they had things going on in their company, and there was not a private space for me to host this training webinar for the coaches. So I went into my car and I got in, and all I had was my external card at the time, for my Wi-Fi, for my cellular Wi-Fi. And I got everything set up, turned things on, and I didn't have any reception. So I was driving around in these parking lots, driving around. I had my laptop on my center console. I had my headphones on, so I had, great audio connection once I got a signal. And I was driving around these parking lots. People were looking at me like I was, a strange person from, another planet. They were saying, what is this woman doing driving around with these big headphones on, this laptop on her console, and, this card on my dashboard? And I was driving really slowly, and I was just waiting for the signal to connect. And then the moment the signal connected, it was perfect. I was actually already driving into a parking spot. So I just drove into the parking spot, put it on into park, and it wasn't 10 seconds later, this webinar was live and I had connection. And I told my team afterward, they had no idea what I was going through. They didn't know that I didn't have reception until 10 seconds before the webinar went live. And I ran it as though it was all fine, because it really was. I wasn't focused on the absence of reception. I was focused on connecting with the reception. And then afterward, I said, oh my goodness, this was so funny. I wish there were people filming what was happening because it was hysterical. And I was so focused and I was so intentional and I was so clear. I didn't know when I was going to find the signal. I didn't know how I was going to find the signal. I only knew that I was going to be on this webinar, and everything came together. So that is law of magnetic resonance, because I was focused on connectivity and being in the webinar, that I gave all of my attention, all of my awareness, and all of my everything to it. Now, the first thing that I entrained, engaged, and calibrated was my vibration. I never for a second considered I wouldn't make the webinar. Secondly, from my vibration, I was able to be aware of my vibration by the feelings I was having. I had urgency, I had intention, I had focus, I had determination, I had a little spiciness within me. I was like, I'm going to find it. It's happening, and I was like this, let's go kind of attitude. And then I was able to bring my actions to and through it. I remember just having this awakened aha, because I was sitting and I had no reception. And I just had this aha within me, drive around, just start moving. So sometimes with attraction, we need to set the momentum in motion. If we're saying, I want whatever I want and desire, I want it to move toward me, and we're stagnated and we're unwilling to move toward what we want, we're sending that vibration out saying, I want you, but I'm unwilling to move toward you. Well, if law of attraction is ultimately the law of reflection, the law of magnetic resonance, and it's reflecting back to us that vibration, it's saying, I know you want me, but I'm unwilling to move to you. So it doesn't mean that we have to always be in action. It simply means that we have to be willing to flow and allow the momentum to and through us. We have to be willing for it all and show up to it all and follow guidance and stay in alignment until it is. So let's talk about really what we've moved into, which is align and allow. Now, what this gives us is it gives us the ability to leverage resistance. Leverage it. Do you know that we utilize the resistance of gravity to propel the rockets into outer space? It's gravity that these rockets utilize to thrust themselves in the opposite direction. Have you ever seen a runner compete? They use starting blocks. Swimmers use starting blocks. They use these points of resistance, these little mini walls, these pulls in the opposite direction to catapult themselves forward. So what I invite you to do right now is to let go of fearing all resistance. Let go of the roadblocks. The roadblocks are not setbacks. The roadblocks are set-ups for success. They're points of contrast. They give you the ability to realign, to calibrate, to let go and allow. So often we forget that we can only see what we've seen. What is important about that is we have cells of recognition that are developed within our conscious mind that allow us to recognize something that we've seen before. When we are first seeing something, we actually generally see it over and over and over again before the cell of recognition is developed and we're consciously aware of what we're seeing. I learned this really from my husband, which I was really grateful for because he grew up in the woods. He grew up hunting and fishing. It was part of the livelihood of his family and the way that they put food on their table. And so when he and I would go on hikes, he would always see deer or birds or turkeys or any type of wildlife before I ever knew they were there. And I said, "How did you see that deer?" "I didn't see it at all." And he said, "Well, it's probably because you're looking for a deer." And I said, I'm looking for a deer. And he asked me, "Well, what do you think a deer looks like?" And I described, it's brown and has a tail and, tail has some white on it and has some ears. And sometimes the ears are big and sometimes they're smaller and sometimes they have antlers. And he said, yes. He said, but it's always, or not always, but most often you never see a deer. You see a twitching ear. You see the tip of a tail that's moving. He said, when I am moving in nature, he said the things that aren't really supposed to be there stand out. And he said, now I'm not saying that a deer isn't supposed to be in nature. He said, but it stands out to me. So I'm not looking for a deer. I'm looking for something that, just is not a match to everything else. He said, so if I'm looking at a grove of bushes or trees, he said, a tail twitching is different from a tree. So everything looks the same. The trees all kind of look the same. And then the tail sticks out. It just kind of looks out of place. Well, what he's describing is the reticular activating system. You'll hear it as, referenced often as the RAS system. And it's part of our brain faculties that affect what we see and what we don't see. And to simplify it, and I know I'm simplifying it greatly, so for all of those beautiful psychologists out there and those that are experts in brain biology, you'll know that this is much more complex. But the simple version is it filters out anything that it doesn't consider to be a priority or consider to be part of your schema of life, your norm. Okay, so if you haven't normalized it and engaged it and it's not regularly part of your life, then it's likely to be filtered out at first, unless you're looking for it. So as my husband looks for things that are out of place, when you're in law of attraction and you're wide open and you're allowing yourself to see everything, you're allowing yourself to see the things that are out of place in your norm. Well, what you want and desire is something that is beyond what currently is. It's outside of your norm that is. So when you allow yourself to be wide open and to receive, recognize, become aware much more readily and quickly, the guidance, the how-tos, the resources that are showing up at your feet in every moment, guiding you, leading you, inspiring you from where you are into where you want to be. The path is showing itself to you. And in this phase 3, it's all about aligning. It's about allowing. It's about turning up the volume. So it's about saying, okay, I desire to listen to this song. Okay, all right, now I'm going to align with the song. I can imagine the song playing. Okay, now I'm allowing myself to engage the song. I'm allowing the song to engage me. Ooh, I have a radio here in my car. Ooh, I have a telephone that has an app on it that plays music. Ooh, I'm by my home and I have this, television station there that plays music. Ooh, I have, you're going to start having all of these, yes, those inspired moments of guidance. Now, what most frequently happens for people is they have the inspired guidance and they say, oh yeah, but like, ooh, I could buy it on iTunes. Yeah, but then I have to spend $1.29. Ooh, I could turn into Google Play, but ooh, then I'll have to use my cell data. Ooh, I have to, but then, And the moment the inspiration comes, they think of all the reasons why they can't. What I want you to do when the inspiration comes is leap into it. Allow it. Now, one of the things that you can trust is your emotions. When something shows up and you say, ooh, okay, that initial impact feels good. It feels inspired. It feels peaceful. It feels wide open. It feels like relief. It feels like breath. It's the thoughts that follow after that disintegrate you. Then they feel bad. You say, ooh, I could buy it on iTunes. Oh, but then I have to use my cell data to download it. Oh, and I have to pay $1.29. Oh, well, and then I can only hear one version of the song. So now we're talking ourselves out of the inspired guidance the moment it shows up. What I want to invite you to do is say, ooh, okay, somehow this came and it felt really, really, really good. And now is the moment to do something out of the norm and to follow it all the way to the next guidance point. Now, sometimes that's all the way through what we initially think, and sometimes that's through to the next guidance point where your next step is shown. Okay? So I've even had clients where they go, ooh, and then they take action and it kind of leads to what they think is a dead end. And they say, ooh, well, that's a failure. That didn't work out very well. Oh, but then it opened another door. And so if they hadn't reached that point where they were at that open, allowing, opportune moment in their vibration, they would not have been entrained and calibrated with the next powerful step. So you're never failing backward. You're always failing forward. And really, it's not failure at all. It's feedback on the next step. Now, think about how many times you fell down when you were learning to walk. Well, you're likely very good at it now, and you probably don't fall down very often. And it's not the falling down that prohibited you from walking. It's the falling down that showed you how to stay up and showed you how to continue to get up. And you became less concerned with the falling down and more focused on the staying up and more focused on the skill and more focused on the balance and more enjoyable of every time you took another step and another step and another step and another step. And now you step every day and you don't think about it at all. This is wonderful. It was passion that drove you forward. It was desire that drove you forward, and all of your actions came to and through the feeling and passion and alignment of your desire. So all of these things in phase 3 are about aligning and allowing. And if you ever find yourself off course, if you find yourself out of alignment, you're feeling bad, things are kind of crummy, what I want you to do is give yourself permission to let go of everything in that moment and say, okay, what is something I've experienced in my life that felt really good? What's something that felt really, really good? And I want you to take yourself into that experience. Take yourself into that experience on the screen of your mind and in the broadcasting frequency from your heart and all that you are, and allow yourself to feel that feel good again. That moment in life that lifted you up, that inspired you, that called you forward in the greatness of all that you are, that allowed you to feel alive, feel empowered, feel awesome. Allow yourself to reconnect there, notice and reclaim all of those feelings, and then say, okay, now what is it that I want? What is it that I desire in my life? Oh yeah, there's my desire. Okay, now I allow myself to be guided, and I don't even have to know what my next step will be. I will know when it's presented to me, and I will allow myself to flow with it. Lo and behold, you'll find yourself really back on track. And give yourself the gift of expectation. You know, I don't know how the sun is going to come up tomorrow, and I don't have to manage the sun coming up tomorrow. I expect it to come up tomorrow. And because of that, I don't think a moment about the darkness. So expectation without having to know how, when, what, where, and why is a gift. It allows you to let go of having to find the deer amongst the trees. You just will simply notice what's out of place in your norm. Those are the guidance moments to the new gift that you are manifesting. So now let's talk about phase 4. And as we transition and move from phase 3 to phase 4, it's important to remember, as you can see in this quote, to accomplish great things, we must not only act, but also dream, not only plan, but also believe. So often we focus on our actions, and our actions are really important. But when we are vibrationally out of alignment, and in alignment with what we don't want. So we're out of alignment with what we do want, and we're entrained and resonating and aligned with what we don't want. We forget that all of our actions will lead you and lead us away from what we want into what we don't want. So in every moment when we're feeling bad, when we're feeling out of sorts, it's not about feeling good all the time, but there's a difference between not feeling rah, rah, rah and feeling a little scared and taking action anyway, to feeling bad, feeling like, oh my goodness, I really want to go to San Diego, and I continue to move closer and closer to New York. So even though I keep talking about San Diego, I continue to set my dial and drive toward New York. Okay, well, if we don't change our GPS setting, we're going to go to New York. We can say that we want to go to San Diego all the time, but our physical manifestations are results of our frequency, of our vibrational alignment. And so physical manifestation is actually the final stage of this coming from desire to physical form. And yet it's the one we give our most attention to. We say, well, where is it? 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 And every time we say, where is it? Are we aligning with what we desire, or are we aligning with its absence? So we can say now, I don't have to know where it is. I know it's happening. I know it's coming. I know it's aligning. I'm all for it. I am seeing it, aware of it, being guided into it. There's something. There's something to engage. Ooh, there's something that I previously engaged, but you know what? That takes me to New York. So I'm letting that one go. Here's something that people say I should engage, but it just feels bad. It feels like a detour, so I'm letting it go. Ooh, here's something that scares me. And boy, my consciousness, my ego wants to avoid it. I'm afraid of falling down. I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid of humiliating myself. I'm afraid it won't work out. But I know it's the next step and I'm scared to take it and I'm taking it anyway. And I don't care how many times I fall down, I'm just going to get up and I'm going to fall down. I'm going to get up. I don't care about that. I'm just going to do it anyway. Oh, and when I take action, what I usually discover, and I'm, giving you this as an example, but what we discover is that what we were afraid of doesn't exist at all. It doesn't happen. It's very beautiful on the other side of our terror barrier. Beyond our terror barrier is what we desire. So this is the moment that we move to and through that terror barrier from alignment and allowing. Now, believing becomes seeing. Oftentimes we look at our reality to determine what we believe is possible. When we look at our reality, all we're looking at is the reflection of what we have been resonating with. The thoughts that we've been thinking over and over and over and over and over in regards to the feeling that we've been entrained in over and over and over, which we call beliefs. And all our present reality is showing us is what we've been believing before. It is not a predictor of what is on the horizon, what is happening, what is coming to be. I love bamboo because bamboo often sit beneath the ground, growing and extending their root system in vast, strong, tremendous ways 4 or 5 years before we ever see evidence of them above the soil. Yet in the first year, once they peek themselves out of the soil, they shoot upwards of 80 feet in 1 year's time. Now we could say, it only grew in the 5th year. That isn't true at all. It was growing. It was alive. It was establishing roots. It was establishing strength. It was establishing its energy and its resources and its dominance of creation in those 4 or 5 years. And then it shoots up because the energy is so fulfilled. It is reaching and expanding in exponential ways. So never underestimate you. Because you're this life force, just like bamboo. And whatever you desire, you cannot see all that's being created. And if you haven't seen it before, your awareness, your consciousness is it's unlikely to recognize it. So what you're going to recognize and what you're going to be drawn into is what was. So when you let go of what is, which is really what was, and you tap into what you desire, and you feel the fire of your desire in every moment, and you allow this life force, this energy, this resonance, this magnetic resonance, this law of attraction to pulse to and through you in every moment, you flowing toward what you want flowing toward you, you flowing into what you want flowing into you. And every time you go off track and you feel bad, you just bring yourself back into feeling good and focusing on what it is that you want and desire, knowing that it wants and desires you and that it's happening right now. And you don't have to manage the how. The how is being shown to you, given to you, guided for you. It's coming all together. Boom! Physical manifestation must occur. It is the coming together of all of the laws of the universe. And it happens when you stay in and continue to be calibrated, resonating, in alignment and allowing of your desire. So the strategy is resonance. The strategy is expectation. The strategy is consistency. And it's free from perfection. It's free from perfection. I mean, think about it. If you're in your car and you're going from Denver to San Diego, you might take a couple of wrong turns. But maybe along that wrong turn, you met somebody that inspired you in your life. And along that wrong turn, that person who inspired you led you to a different part of you that you hadn't discovered before and awakened some of your greatness and allowed you to have more of yourself available when you got to San Diego. Stop judging your turns, your steps, your maneuvers. Allow yourself to be guided. Allow yourself to celebrate that everything is coming together with divine order orchestrating it. So allow it in your life. Let go of the reins from time to time. Allow yourself to be guided by the force of law of attraction. And when you stay aligned and allowing of the frequency of the good you desire, the force of law of attraction will always take good care of you. And in every moment, you're always on path. You may be creating a little contrast on your path. You may be walking in the dark instead of the light, but you're still walking. And it doesn't matter if you step to the side of your path or step on it. Everything is a setup for your success. It doesn't matter if you stumble on your path. That stumble may be developing strength, maybe developing an awareness, some skill that you need for your arrival, for your reception, for your expansion. So this is a very powerful phase, but it is the final phase. And it usually happens in the moments where you think it's never going to happen. So stay course. And yet this phase is not the final phase. And really, ultimately, there is no final phase. But this is a transition phase of expansion. Because when you receive what you want and desire, you have become more. You see, when you set your desire in motion, you set it in motion, but what you may not be aware of is that desire expands you. And then you move into, through the process of law of attraction, you move into the space in which you have expanded. So it's kind of like a child buying some clothes that are a few sizes bigger, knowing that they're going to go into a growth spurt. But it's actually the buying of the clothes that are bigger that cause, by law of cause and effect, and law of attraction, and law of resonance, and law of perpetual transmutation, and the law of polarity. This all is the fuel for the expansion. So a child buying clothes that are a few sizes bigger than they are sets in motion the growth and expansion into that size. So this is very good. And then once you reach that physical size, which is phase 4, the clothes might begin to feel a little tighter. And you feel the restriction of them. And it's not that they're not great clothes and that you don't appreciate them and love them and, oh, they're so much fun. But now you're ready for perhaps bigger clothes or a different style or something that really speaks to you and something you want to explore. And so that desire, when you put on the new style or the new size of clothes or the new something, that sets in motion your expansion. So phase 5, it's a tongue twister, really is your new desire. It's the expanding, it's the becoming more. You see, there is a law of perpetual increase. It says that everything is always in the process of expansion. Everything is expansion. Even disintegration is in contrast, working with the law of perpetual increase. So in this phase, you're going to want more. It has nothing to do with greed. It has nothing to do with an absence of gratitude or appreciation. It has to do with the expansive being that you are. And expansion happens, and it fuels the desire. You see, life force is pulsing to and through you and is always seeking expansion to and through you. This is beautiful because it's the desire for expansion and the life force and the infinite being that you are that is ever beckoning and inviting you to desire more, because it's the desire and all of this that comes together that set in motion the the process of expansion. So here is this phase of expansion, and it actually is what you haven't been aware of before. So you thought that phase 1 was actually dream and desire, but you didn't realize desire actually really starts to be planted as a seed in phase 5. Your phase 5 is beautiful. It brings together your new desire. It's like the seedling that is being birthed, that then will become the desire you plant in your heart and become the reality in your life. So phase 5 is about becoming more. It's about filling out the shoes that you've grown into and now deciding the new steps you want to take in your life. It is the law of vibration, the law of perpetual increase, the law of gender, the law of polarity, the law of attraction, the law of magnetic resonance. It's all of the laws. So the strategy is what you desire, you become first. But then in this moment, without your conscious awareness, you start to broadcast your next desire. And expansion is life. And growing is strong. Surviving is trying to circumvent disintegration. There's no need for you to survive. You're here to thrive. And I want to invite you to look at your list and say, okay, I'm going to set in motion. I'm going to get upon the path. I'm going to get upon the path consciously, because you're already on the path. You don't have to get on the path. You're on the path, but now you can do it consciously. You can engage these 5 phases, moving from where you are to where you want to be. And it's a pleasure to have shared this information with you. And I want you to know you have my continual support. You have my continual support and my offer of continual guidance, because sometimes things are happening and we just mislabel them. We misread them. We read them based on what we were taught, not based on who we are. Universal laws, universal strategies they're always here. And when you become aware of them, you know exactly how to engage them to your highest, most greatest potential. So in this moment, I'd like to invite you, as my special guest, I'd like to invite you to join the Attract Your Best Life membership program. It's a monthly membership program, and it's where we come together and bring you the most amazing, impactful, universal laws and strategies, much like today's lesson, but boy, we go way far beyond, and really give you the guidance that you know what to do in each day to dream, attract, and live your very best. We go into specific details every month and give you very clear guidance to move from where you are really to where you want to be in life. Whatever it is that you've been wanting, whatever it is that you've been desiring, you are designed to live. And in this process, I'm going to coach you, guide you, teach you, empower you to stay on path consciously and to engage things confidently so that you're not slowly moving along your path, kind of nervous and wondering, oh, am I navigating? Am I aligned? You're going to move down your path confidently, powerfully, and clearly. In the membership program, you're going to have access to the private Attract Your Best Life Now membership site. We have an amazing membership site. You're also going to get group coaching sessions that are hosted live for you every month. You're going to receive teaching sessions that are hosted for you specifically live every month based on what's going on within the membership, where you are, where you want to be. We're going to be coaching you and teaching you specifically to what it is that you need. You're going to have monthly downloadable lessons, guidance, notes, step-by-step instruction, worksheets, things that really help you to engage your greatness. You're going to have access to our private Facebook group where we keep the conversation going. It's a living, thriving group. You're going to have access to our membership archive so you never skip a beat. So what happened last month and the month before, the resources are always available to you. And then you have special membership discounts. Anything that I'm doing, any events, I always like to make them available at a special discounted rate or special opportunity, VIP, whatever we can do for you as they come up. We also have a very special lifestyle bonus section where we have cooking for those that are fast on the track of their success. Things that really lift up your body, that help you fuel and nurture and take care of the physical body vehicle that you have. We have resources for filling relationships. And these are relationships that apply to business, to family, to friends, also self-care and recharging for abundance, keeping your battery, your mind, body, spirit charged and open so that you can allow your greatness to shine through. So I want to extend this special opportunity to click the buttons below, learn more if you'd like, and join our membership program. We've made it amazingly affordable. You won't notice the membership fee. As a matter of fact, what you'll notice is all of the acceleration, all of the gain, all of the greatness that starts to click in your life. And how fun it is to be able to have these authentic conversations with people that are really aware and awake to what you're aware and awake with. And I love interacting with you. That's what I love about this membership group is the interaction, the connection, the collaboration, the camaraderie, just the love that's shared from those that are just ready to accelerate. And it doesn't matter how much success you've had, how easy things have been, how challenging things have been. Membership is all about now, moving forward in aligning, attracting, and realizing what you want now. So I just want to invite you to join the group. You can see all you need to do is click the links below. You can also come to attractyourbestlifenow.com, but there are links below this video. Click those, come on in. We're ready to get started and apply everything that we've gone in this masterclass. I really, in my heart, hope that you join Attract Your Best Life Now. That's my biggest celebration. I just would love the opportunity to work more directly and intimately with you. And I definitely want to encourage you and empower you to apply the things that you've learned today in this masterclass, because it would just be my joy to see you apply these things. Let me know how they're going. Let me know what's coming up for you. Celebrate your wins, help you refocus and align in any of the challenges if they come up at all, and just accelerate from where you are into where you want to be. So click on the links below, come on in, join membership, and let's help you attract your very best life starting right now. Thank you, and we'll see you in membership.